Dreamfar High School Marathon is about 78 students, 7 Massachusetts high schools, and over 100 volunteers. Dreamfar is about challenging high school students to reach their full potential, academically, physically, socially, and emotionally. Dreamfar is about hard work, dedication, and determination. Dreamfar is about teamwork and the importance of working together to reach a common goal. Dreamfar is about learning valuable skills to use when tackling life's challenges, in high school and beyond. Dreamfar is about experiencing the value of a physically active lifestyle and gaining tools to become healthy, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Welcome to the Principal's Office with Dr. Gould. Today's guests are Rachel Lemieux and Sarah Labossiere. And Sarah is a teaching assistant, and Rachel is a math teacher. And both of them have really authored and driven the initiative called Dreamfar. And welcome ladies, and what is Dreamfar?
Dreamfar is a mentor-supported marathon training program. And it's different from other athletic endeavors because, first of all, it's mentor-supported. So the adults train right alongside the students. And the adults try their best to act as mentors, not just coaches, but we try to make a connection with the students on an academic and a personal level as well. And we really want to be advisors and advocates for the students and model positive attitudes and actions.
Excellent. And why did you get involved in Dreamfar?
Well, a year and a half ago, actually, I saw an article in the paper that described the program, and it was really interesting, but it didn't really go much further than that. And then it just so happened that same week I ran into Sarah, and she says, hey, did you see the article in the paper? And it's like, funny that you should say that. So we just started talking, and they were trying to expand to the South Coast. So we kind of jumped on board as soon as we heard about it and contacted them, and we just thought it'd be a great thing to bring here to Dartmouth.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. What do you want students to gain from the experience with Dreamfar?
Primarily, even though we are training for a marathon, so it is an athletic endeavor, it's more about the attitudes. And we want them to develop an I can attitude, some self-efficacy, that they can truly believe that if they can do this hard thing, this really hard thing, training through the snow and the rain and over 30 weeks towards this great big goal, if they can do that, then they can do anything. And setting goals smaller at first and achieving them, gaining confidence, taking a bigger risk, setting a bigger goal, achieving that, gaining confidence, that's part of that I can attitude. And also strengthening connections and building relationships within their peers. Now it's like a stratified group. It's not just freshmen. It's not just athletes. It's not just musicians. It's all different groups of people. And so they can build relationships with students that they might not otherwise have known. And with the adults that they, trusting someone over 30, I hope that they can come away with that. And also just building some connections with the wider world. And we partner with other schools in the South Coast, and we meet regularly once a week on Saturdays with them. And then we also partner with the schools in Boston. We have almost 20 schools this year participating.
Could you name a few?
We could name a few. Newton North and Newton South are Boston area schools. Do you remember some other ones?
There's a lot right
There's
in
a
Boston
lot.
area.
Sharon, I believe, Sharon High School.
South Coast?
South Coast, we have Old Rochester, Dartmouth High School. Last year we had City on the Hill. This year we have, which is a charter school in New Bedford. This year we have Global Learning Charter School. And that is it for South Coast. So 3 for South Coast. City on the Hill is still on the fence, I think, this year, but Global Learning is on board.
So just from my own understanding and for the viewers out there, if a student walked up to either one of you or any adult involved with Dreamfar and said, hey, is this something I can get involved in, what would the answer be?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. It's not, we have, our first practice starts Monday, but we continue to accept students for quite a while after that. We start very small, so they're not missing too much at the beginning. We're trying to build strength and everything, and so it's not a problem to join even later than Monday.
Why do you think it is important for Dreamfar to be here in Dartmouth?
I think Dartmouth has so much to offer our students as far as sports and music and arts and clubs and activities. There is a lot here, but I also think there is still a group of kids who are just not sure what they want to get involved with and maybe intimidated to get involved with an organized club or something like this. And I just kind of see this as there's just one more opportunity for kids to say, you know, I never even thought in my wildest dreams that I could run a marathon, but I don't know, maybe I could go out with you on Monday and run 1 mile. You know, just that's something I think I could do. And our hope is that they come out and they meet some of their peers, maybe some kids that they've never seen before, maybe would have never even thought of talking to in the hallways before, and that they realize, you know, maybe we do have more in common than I thought. Seeing some adults in this building that, you know, this might not be such a bad thing, and just to come on out and run 1 mile with us.
Do you see this as an opportunity for students to participate in something, not only participate in an activity, but also maybe have some larger discussions with some adult mentors?
Oh, absolutely. That's part of the whole point of it, you know. And we also try to be very welcoming and very supportive. And so we work with students. We've had students that, you know, if you miss a day, we're willing to come and meet with them another day and run and make up their miles so that they can stay on track. So
Excellent.
And we also want to make, you know, as teachers, we always want our children to be lifelong learners.
Yes.
And this program is no different. I mean, we want to give them habits that we hope continue on for the rest of their life and their adult life, when they're not maybe involved in organized sports or things like that. But they might be more willing now to say, hey, call up a friend, let's go out, either walk a mile or go running a few miles or something. So we hope it's something that we instill in them now that will last a lifetime.
And that's a wonderful gift, in my opinion. That's very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What did you take away from the program last year as an adult involved with this program?
well, first of all, I had never run a marathon before. And so it was intimidating to me as well. And I think that helped. We had several teachers in the same boat. And that helped with the students, like, hey, we're all doing this together. We are on the same level as you. This is new. And so so now I've run one marathon, still feels new and still scary. So I feel like being able to relate on that level was very valuable. Achieving the marathon myself was a personal goal of mine.
And for those who don't know, can you define a marathon?
Oh, a marathon is 26.2 miles.
And based on the Battle of Marathon and the news getting...
Oh, yeah, from in the Olympics, Athens to where?
Yeah. It was a battle, I understand.
It was a battle? Okay.
And the man collapsed once he delivered the news to the king. And
so that's as far as we want to go now.
but it was interesting because a lot of, we can mention this, but some people might not know. No. It's 26 miles, and that's quite an accomplishment.
Point
two, thank you.
26.2, right. However, as we say, we start small, and built into the program is not only our training schedule, but also we do a 5K. Our first 5K is the Fairhaven Turkey Trot on Thanksgiving morning.
Excellent.
And then we do a 10K in January. So that's 3.1 miles for the 5K, 6.2 miles for the 10K. Then we do the New Bedford Half Marathon, 13.1, and then working up to the 26.2 marathon.
Amazing, amazing. And congratulations, it's quite an accomplishment.
What I realize is that the connections last. We have students that are still coming back to us. They started the program, even if they didn't even complete the entire program, they're coming back to us and just chatting in the classroom, in the hallway. Those connections last, and that's a valuable thing. And also, it's just such a cooperative, team-based activity that it's a wonderful feeling to be involved in a group like that. And you can get that feeling in many ways, but this is one that we offer to the students.
And almost, what I'm hearing are three things: the actual immediate accomplishment, the second part is the camaraderie, and the third part is almost having a frame of mind for life to be healthy.
That's a wonderful way to put it, yeah.
Okay, well, wonderful. Rochelle, what do you hope the students took away from the program last year?
Well, I think it's some of these things we've already touched upon. It's that I did something really hard. I got up early every Saturday morning, even days when I didn't want to, when it was raining, when it was, too hot or too cold, and I worked through it, and I felt so much better when it was done. So I'm hoping that there's the days that they wake up and say, you know what, I just as soon not go to school today. I got a big test. They can wake up and say, you know what, I don't want to do this, but it's hard and I can do it, and I'm going to feel so much better when it's done. And again, it's those little goals. If I can get through today, or if I can do this tomorrow, and it's just that rewarding feeling, how much better you feel when it's done, that they can just take that to all aspects of their life. It really isn't about the marathon.
And it's that idea of development and having a mentor and bringing them along and saying, you can do this, and this is how you do it. And that makes a difference, I think.
And what they need to understand is they bring as much to the program as we do. I mean, there's many a days that, as adults, we sit back and say, I would have stayed in bed today.
Yeah.
But now that I knew that the other kids were going to be out there, I had to show up. I couldn't not just stay home. And you realize when people like that depend on you, and that the students were doing that for us as much as we were doing it for them. And I think that gives them a great sense of pride in saying, I can do that for somebody else. And I think that's really important.
Well, what's really neat is I hope the kids are listening, because you're saying they drive you as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's wonderful.
Don't be intimidated by the 26.2. We don't worry about the marathon. We worry about today and this week's training. So we have a bulletin board upstairs, and one of the areas this week's training. So
where's it located?
It's next to Ms. Chavier's office in front of the Media Center, the LMC.
And you were working on it for a couple hours the other day.
Yes, and it's still a work in progress. It still can be improved.
It looks pretty good to me.
So starting small is important. I have some of my favorite quotes, and there's going to be a quote up there every month changing also. One that you'll probably hear on an announcement soon, Winnie the Pooh. You're stronger than you think. I love that. You're stronger than you think. I want them to know that.
And everyone knows
Winnie
the Pooh.
Everybody knows Winnie the Pooh. I have an anonymous quote that is up on the bulletin board now. The quickest way to gain self-confidence is to do exactly what you are afraid of. That is very powerful. And it seems very true in my life. I believe it's a universal truth. And then a quote from Arthur Ashe: start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can.
Wonderful.
So just go from where you are. Start.
And he was a
start
brave
from
man
anywhere.
in a lot of ways. And I think that for those who don't know, he was an accomplished tennis person, and a man who was a pioneer in, the crisis over identity. And it was very controversial when they put a statue up of him on Main Street in Richmond. And but it was deserved, and that community struggled with that, but he eventually left the statue alone. So I love these quotes, being a former history teacher, and it's relevant, it's meaningful. So I think you capture it. That's wonderful.
So never know what you can do until you try.
That's it. So but I love the levels. Like you have Pooh Bear, and then you have Arthur Ashe. That's great. Rachel, describe the training schedule. What a typical week of training looks like.
Well, as Sarah said, we start next week, and we basically start with 1 mile. And it's running, and if we need to walk, we walk some. We will be training on Mondays. We will be running on Mondays. We'll be running on Thursdays. We'll be cross-training on Tuesdays. And then starting in November, we begin our long runs, and those are on Saturday mornings.
What does your cross-training look like?
So our cross-training, we kind of can develop it whatever we want it to be. So some days we might run the stairs, some days we might do yoga, some days we might do a CrossFit or anything, because it's important to develop other muscles, not just your legs where you're running. So that's a really important part of a running program. So we run on Monday, Thursdays, and then in November we'll start doing our long runs on Saturdays. And that's really fun because we do that with the other schools. So we'll be running some days in the Marion Mattapoisett area, some days we'll be running out of downtown New Bedford area, and then there's about 3 or 4 times we're going to drive up to Boston, and we're going to run with all of the Boston schools. So there'll be about 150 kids and about another 100 adults running. We're going to be running a lot of the Boston Marathon route.
Excellent.
There'll be other running clubs out there, so we get to see a lot of other runners and what that community is really like, and there's a lot of support along the way. So it's neat for the kids to realize they're a part of this much greater community.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Sarah, how did Dreamfar come about?
Well, it was originally developed by a woman named Jamie Charloff, and she was a special ed teaching assistant in Newton. And she was training for her first marathon, and concurrently she was looking for a way to connect with her students in a different way, an out-of-the-box way. And so she invited 1 or 2 of them to join her in training, and they did, and they all completed the marathon. And she said, I'm onto something. And she advertised the next year, grew it in her school, and then she started expanding to other schools. This year we have almost 20 schools participating. So far, since 2008, 500 students have been served in this program. Last year, we had almost 150 alone just in last year.
Wow.
So it's really growing by leaps and bounds. They have a board of trustees. They're the real deal. They spend a lot of time and a lot of effort. They have run by volunteer donations, and they do a lot of work in the Boston area to raise support and
That's
and have
excellent.
just
And it
continued
shows how
that way.
one person can make a difference.
It is.
Can start a
Isn't that
movement.
amazing? Yeah.
And to see that it ripples out
Yeah.
all the way down to the South Coast and out to
Right.
West. I mean, how far out in Massachusetts is it now?
It's really just the Boston area, greater
Okay.
Boston area and South Coast. There might be someone in Plymouth. Sharon is kind of in between. I should mention that Jamie had some of her inspiration from a program in LA, in Los Angeles,
Really?
called Run LA, or LA Run, LA Run
Okay.
program. And that's been going on for, I think, 20 years, and they've had phenomenal success out in that area with the same sort of program. So you
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. And also, just to promote this, Dartmouth at Dreamfar,
SM, High School Marathon, HSM.
.org, and thank you for that. And you have a fundraiser on November 4th.
4th, 5th, and 6th.
Excellent. And then, are you on YouTube and GoFundMe?
We have YouTube, GoFundMe, and we also have a website, www.dreamfarhsm.org.
I want to thank you on two levels today. First, for coming onto the show, and second, for making a difference here at Dartmouth High School, not only in the classroom, but also outside the classroom. So thank you both.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on the Principal's Office with Dr. Gould.